They love Trump because Trump's going to let them stay in business. And these guys have hundreds of trucks. These are the biggest guys. They say, sir, they're going to destroy the whole chain. I said, they've already done that, the supply chain. They've already done that. What's to destroy? They want trucks to become all electric, all electric. And here's the problem. So you go out and buy a big Peterbilt. They're good trucks, right? And others, they're good trucks. Peterbilt's great. They're all great. You go out and buy. So a truck, a good big truck, biggest hauler, can go 2,000 miles, a big one, good one, maximum, 2,000 miles. An electric one goes about 300 miles. You got a problem there. So you're going to have to stop 6 or 7 times to make up the difference. What's that going to do to our supply chain? The other thing is it has a different kind of power. Electric's powerful, but it's a different kind of power. It's not as good a power at all. And the head of one of the biggest companies in the world in truckers, he's devastated. He said, you know, sir, for 50 years I've been buying trucks, big company. He's got hundreds of these things. He said, and every year they get a little better, they're stronger, faster. They're just, it's amazing what they've done. And now in one day, they're going to set us back 50 years. We'll go back to where we were 50 or 60 years ago. They're going to destroy our industry. And there's no talking to these maniacs. You know, you explain it. There's not a person in this room who, after just that short little synopsis, would say, well, let's give electric a shot. You could tell this to the people in Washington, and it would have no impact on them. They say, we don't care, we're going all electric. And by the way, you can't get rid of the batteries because you can't put them in the earth. They say it destroys the earth. They're made in China because China has the material. See, we have gasoline. They don't want us to use the gasoline. They want us to use something that we won't be able to get. It's so crazy when you hear these stories, and they're unyielding. They don't want to stop. Under a Trump administration, gasoline-fired engines will be allowed, but child sexual mutilation will be not allowed. Will not be allowed. Can you imagine you're a politician 10 or 15 years ago and you're saying, we will not allow you to sexually mutilate our children? Could you imagine that's actually a campaign talking point? I mean, what's going on? No, think it's evil, it's sick. No, but you're a politician and you say, we will not allow them to sexually mutilate your children. Can you imagine you have to make that statement? It's like men playing in women's sports. Can you imagine? I come up here, it's one of the most popular things I say. I will not allow men to participate in women's sports. The place goes crazy all the time, right? They go crazy. But can you imagine saying it? The weightlifter lifted like 160 pounds more. 160 pounds, broke the record. For 18 years, the record stood. They'd put a quarter of an ounce on one side of the big barbell, quarter of an ounce on the other side. A young woman would get up, and she's so proud. Her father's in the front row, right where you are, with a very beautiful blonde hair. Right where I'd like to have that color, blonde hair. And you got the parents, the sisters, everyone's there, so proud. This young girl, she's a weightlifter, she's a champion. They have a quarter of an ounce and a quarter of an ounce. She grabs it. Mom, I'm going to make you so proud, Mom. She's watching her. Then she gets down. And they're proud, they're clapping, they're going crazy. I can't do it, Mom, I can't. Boom, doesn't do it. Then a guy comes up who transitioned. Have you lifted before, they ask. No, not really. Oh, you've never lifted? No. Oh, well, okay, good luck. So he takes the barbell. Bing, bong. They end up putting 150 pounds more on it. He does it. It's going to be hard. Or the swimmers. How about the swimming records? Young lady, you've heard this one. Should I do this one or not? Because, you know, our first lady hates it when I do it. She says, darling, I love you so much, but this is not presidential when you do the weightlifting. This is not presidential. Or when you do the swimming thing, it's not, you know, and I understand. Or when you dance off the stage. She said, sir. No, she said, darling, I love you. I love you, but this is not presidential. You don't dance off the stage. I say, look, we got a year to go. Everybody loves us. I love everybody. The country's going to hell in a handbasket. Let's do a little dancing. But an attorney general, technically she's probably right. But what the hell? But the swimmer is an even greater case. You have a young lady. These are true stories. You have a young lady, and she's a great swimmer. And, you know, all the talented, like golfers, baseball players, but, you know, when they're six, they're better than the other kids that are six, right? You know, it's a special group. And so you end up like in a pyramid, and these are great college swimmers. And she's been swimming against the same people for a long time because she's swimming at a top level. So she looks left and she recognizes everybody. And she looks right and she recognizes everybody. But this guy is right over here. He transitioned. And he's like a giant. She's like, who is that? Holy mackerel. He has a wingspan slightly larger than Wilt the Stilt Chamberlain. You know who that is. Wilt the Stilt was fairly large with a wingspan, like a 9-foot wingspan. This guy was a little bit larger. Okay. So he's there. Now she's a little worried because she wants to break the record. And she doesn't want to be embarrassed because her parents are there. Everybody's there. And they go, ready, set, beautiful, surround, go. And they all jump in. And as you know, she got very badly injured that day, right? You know that, right? Horribly, horribly injured. Windburn. He went by her so fast that she was terribly burned. They took her to the hospital. And she will be okay, but she got horrible windburn. And I think he broke the record by like 28 seconds or some ridiculous number. No, this is crazy. And you know, it's very demeaning to the women. And the amazing thing is the women on the teams all know this, and they're all afraid to speak up. Not all, there's a couple that do. But mostly they're afraid to speak up. They don't think it's appropriate to speak up. But it's not going to matter because we're going to end that so fast. We're going to end that so fast. You know, like I told this yesterday, I said I'm not a big LeBron James fan. I'm just not. I'm sorry. But he's a great basketball player. But I'd go to him and I'd say, I want to be a basketball coach. I'll be better than the great John Wooden. I'd say, LeBron, would you like to transition? Because I'd like to start a team, and I'll get you and I'll get 5 or 6 other guys, and if you all transition, we are the greatest team in the history of basketball. You'll be playing at 80 years old. You won't even have to take a break. And I will become the greatest coach in all of history. I will go for 30 years without a loss, and my players will average in age about 60. And that's what I want to do. But no, it's so ridiculous, isn't it, though? It's so ridiculous that they can be doing this. And they talk about it so seriously. And then you watch some of these Democrats get up and they try and justify it. There's no justification.